Hello everyone, I'm Jaha Zainabu and this is Storytime with Jaha Zainabu 30. 30, that's a big deal. So, um, because this is 30, I said that I would celebrate every 10 days of the story times. So I celebrated day 10, day 20, and now we're at day 30. And because I believe in celebrating your wins. And well, every day is a win. Every day that I honor my commitment to myself is a win. Every day I show up is a win. But I celebrate every 10. What did I do? And they aren't huge. Let's see, yesterday I bought 3 plants for my home. And I'm going to use that as celebration for today. But we're at day 30 and welcome. I am glad that you are here. Instead of random story today, to begin with, I just went to an old blog and I put in the search bar. What did I put in? I put in why I write or my reason for writing or something like that, and I just wanted to see what blog entry it would come up. And so I'm going to read that first, and then we'll go into what I'm talking about today. And this is a blog entry from from Wednesday, October 15th, 2014. So, Wednesday, October 15, 2014. Okay, let's begin. It's 3:59 p.m. and I'm sitting in my vehicle in front of my home. The sun feels good on my face. My students are testing today, so my poetry class is off today. This free write will be choppy and probably not make much sense at all. Oh well. I need to write, though. Writing is my therapy. Last night was a hard night for me. Why do I write about hard nights and good nights and mania and depression and the crazies that come? Well, when I see my emotions all spelled out in little black letters, I honor myself by defining myself. Also, I gain a sense of being bigger than it, whatever it is. I will not protect another one of my abusers with my silence. I might have manic and depressive stages, but they will never have me. Also, I also, this is a lonely, being bipolar 1 is a lonely disease because people don't want to tell. And I get it. I don't want to tell most things either, but as Audre Lorde says, your silence will not protect you. My silence did not protect me. My silence does not make me feel better. It does not make me feel brave or protected or happy no one else knows. My silence eats at me. It controls me, or it would if I let it. My silence makes me feel ashamed. My silence alienates me from my friends and family and healthcare professionals. My silence hates me because only something that does this hates. Because besides, my voice is balm, BALM. My voice through writing, my speaking voice shedding light to stories that are hiding in the lining of my stomach and breast. Writing helps me feel better. Writing helps me fly. There is not just one way I have to tell my story. I can take as long as I want to get to the point, and then I never even have to get there at all if I don't want. Am I alone? Does writing do this for you? Do you have something that does? What helps you fly? I want to fly. Sharing here on this blog gives me power. I feel like if I can share it, then nobody holds it over me, whatever it is. My mental health is not my dirty little secret. I can't live that way. Sharing is my way of telling you that you aren't alone. I don't believe that I'm the only one on this roller coaster. I stay out late at night on purpose. I like late dinners and cozy restaurants. I like Merlot and long-stemmed wine glasses on purpose. I like easy dinner company with people who make me smile, laugh, let me be quiet and comfortable. Well, after my appointment has been postponed 3 times now by the medical facility, I have another appointment on Friday morning, finally. I have been off my meds for about 4 months now. I went off of them as responsibly as I knew how. I said, fuck it, and I stopped taking them. I needed a break. My left hand needed a break from shaking so much. My body needed to feel something. I needed to be able to wake up and feel alert before 11:30 a.m. I needed to not draw a blank so much. I needed to feel like myself again. I needed that to not be such a big thing to ask for. From day one, I never felt my doctor. I hated the way she talked to me, the way she looked at me, the way her office was always, all of the ways looking like a lightweight episode of Hoarders. I hated the way I had to stand my black body on her white scale every time and listen to her lecture me before she would give me a prescription. I hated the time I excitedly told her I bought a bike and she told me I needed to walk. This bitch had no give. I hated the way her LSU diploma hung crooked on the wall. I hated her German accent. I hated that she had a calendar on her wall that was 7 years old, and that was crooked too. Even if the artist was Charles Bibbs, who I actually really like, she didn't deserve his art in her trashy ass office with the dusty bookshelf, damn, and books lying all shoddy. I hated seeing her dirty lunch fork and framed pictures, plural, of her dog. No partner, no children, no colleagues, no friends, just Rex or whatever. I hated the time she looked at me as I sat across from her and she said with her arms spreading wider and wider, "Have you always been this way?" The way she talked to me like I was 6,000 pounds, let her tell it. I was walking some crazy breathing miracle. And even if I was, I wouldn't have deserved that. I hated the way she rolled her arms and her hands down the contour of her rail-thin body as she told me what I should be eating. And I love the way I started referring to her as that body-rolling bitch. I'm fucked up. Whatever. Oh, and I hated the way she said my name. Robin. Hooker is Robin. Jaha, if you're nasty. I began to feel anxious, always, hours before seeing her. I started treating her like I was in my 20s and she was some dude I was fucking, sucking in my stomach, although my stomach game in my 20s was mad sexy. Judge yourselves. Checking my outfit, doing last minute walks around the blocks, like tripping. When enough meds were in my system and I was sick enough of seeing Dr. G and feeling the side effects from her and the meds, I told myself it was a good time to take a break. So I did. I was eating better and walking more, and out to prove to the world that those pills could stay in the bottom of the flood control. As time went on, I felt myself returning to me, waking up earlier and earlier, feeling my hands stop shaking. Life started being funny and awful again, but then I started crying again, started talking too fast and being all jittery again. I started being way too happy again. Like going up so high on a roller coaster, the quick fall was soon to follow. Then the depression again, then the self-medicating again. Currently, I'm in this I can't do this by myself no more stage. I have audio and tactile hallucinations of rats late at night. I'm constantly waking up, patting my legs, and feeling under my pillows. I need some movie on, or I will hear the scratches from under my bed and my pillow. My room is on the second floor, yet I am uncomfortable with the windows open, but they are open because, of course, the rats have nothing better to do than crawl up to my hot ass room and torture me. The funny thing is, though, I've never seen a rat or a mouse, not so much as a lizard in this house, but still, though. I got home late last night, about 11:30. I don't take naps anymore. In effort to save up my sleepy, I hope you understand that, until the end of the night or early in the morning. Thankfully, I was sleepy enough as I crawled into my bed. I finally dozed off, but then kept feeling my leg twitching. And a twitch is just a twitch, but I damn near lost my shit because in my mind the rats were crawling into my skin and running up and down my leg bones. Because you know rats do this, I guess. Then every single time I closed my eyes, I saw an ultrasound of my brain. And there was a big rat moving around in there. So I stopped closing my eyes and I spent most of the night and early morning fighting sleep. Like something was mad I was going to have the gall to have a good sleep. Off subject a little bit here. I am thankful all the time for good sleep in my gratitude logs every day now. It's my way of defining my night by good rest, however short I get to say. Anyway, I was scared again last night. The first phone call I got this morning, though, was from one of the doctors at the medical facility confirming my appointment for Friday. Today is Wednesday. I asked her if I could please be seen today. No, Friday is the soonest. It's not that far. It's not that far actually pissed me off. They know about the rats, and it's not that far. How does she know how the fuck far it is? I went to see V and talk for a minute. I called a doctor friend of mine for some advice, got a referral from him about an emergency facility who would give me meds same day. And I drove through crowded ass Culver City and they were closed. And not just closed, but shut down. And how did I know they were shut down? Because when I walked through the doors with the same address but a different hospital name and told the security guard at the information desk the place I was looking for, and he did a quick side glance and whispered to me, "That psych place?" Oh, baby, they closed. They shut down. I guess the whisper was to preserve my dignity. I don't know. But they didn't shut down, though. They just moved. Because there is another facility with the same name in East Los Angeles. And I know because I've been there before. The wait is forever, though, and they don't give meds after 4 p.m. And it was already 3:30. But I'm going to be cool. I haven't eaten all day, though. Thankfully, I have zero appetite. Every time I think about eating something, I just imagine rats inside of my stomach eating the food, and it grosses me out. Somebody tell my brain to shut the hell up for a minute. I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the world stage tonight. I'm not going to read, though. It will be good just listening to words and stories and poems from other folks. Until later, y'all. 2014 was like 2013, 2014 to 15. Those were really hard years. My body was really just getting used to the meds, and you know, when doctors give you meds, they don't know which cocktail is the right cocktail for you, so it's all an experiment. But I was on a pretty high dosage of lithium, and the lithium makes your hands shake, and there's no, like, I asked my doctor about the lithium, and you know, I did get another doctor from Dr. G because she was awful to me. And the doctor that I really did like, he said, you know, well, you kind of have to choose your hands shaking a lot or not having the lithium. And the lithium I kind of needed, just to regulate my body. But you feel, it's not that you feel, it's that you don't feel, you feel kind of numb. So you kind of, and I think that's one of the reasons why people go off meds often. It's one of the reasons I did. Just, it's that not feeling kind of anything. It's just that walking around feeling a bit empty. You're not funny. You're not, you're just there. So this wasn't, this story time was not, I didn't intend to go there, really. And the thing with like the rats, I don't anymore, thank God. And that was a big concern for me for a long time, because I had really bad hallucinations about rats for some reason, that they were in my stomach eating my food, or they were in my brain, or they were under my bed, or they were on my body, or whatever. And it was bad. Like, and it would keep me up, because I would feel like if I go to sleep, then they're going to get me, or they. And I think a lot of it had to do with the cocktail of meds I was on at the time. I'm not on them anymore. I'm not in anything right now. But like, I look back, I really had something to talk about, but I will get to that later. I look back and I am so thankful. Like, I know that there is a God that lives in me. I just do. Because just to get through that time in my life was miracle. I think that this whole obsession with rats had, like I said, a lot to do with the meds, and I was always incredibly frightened. I was frightened about, I was scared about looking in the same spot too long. Part of me still has that, to be honest with you. Like, I was scared about focusing on the same spot because something would crawl or in my mind. And I don't know where that came from. Like I said, that's why I just kind of blame it on the meds, because I didn't grow up, in a house with rats and mice. I've never even seen a rat or a mouse like outside of the street or something like that. But I hate even like talking about it. But at the same time, I love talking about it because it is a huge testimony. I was greatly convinced that I could not go on living like that. I knew that I could not go on living like that. I knew that that was, and I did have a plan. And it made sense to me at the time. And that's the thing about the depression. The voices make the voices seem like they make sense. They don't. And you don't know that because you're in that, but they don't. And if you are living through this, the voices are not your friends when you are in the thick of it. They're not. And the voices, to me, like, see, the thing is, like, when I say voices, unless you experience this, I think that you have a different idea of voices. Like, the voices for me were not screaming and loud and mean. They were not that. because I wouldn't have entertained that, and I would have been sure that those voices were not my friends. But the voices were very seductive. The voices are very, you know, if you just take, like, you know how easy you sleep with 2 pills? Right. If you take 17, can you imagine that sleep? You know, and you're so, like, sleep deprived, you're so depressed, and you just kind of, yeah, you know. And it made sense at the time that part of my plan was rat poison. I was going to take rat poison. And, you know, so it was going to be rat poison and wine and whatever kind of food rat poison would go down in. I didn't have it all worked out, but that was the plan. And I look back on that time and I just give thanks. And to be clear, I never wanted to die, ever. I just knew that I couldn't live like that. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of stuttering because this wasn't the plan for today. This wasn't the story time for today, but maybe today, whoever you are, if you are still listening, maybe this is for you. If this is for you, just get through the night. See the sun. Just get through the night and see the sun, stay and fight. I said in a, not a story time, but kind of one of the mini video clips that I made for YouTube before, I said that if you have a plan, then you're further along than you think. And that's true. Like, if you're that far, you're further along than you think. And I think that for a lot of people, or at least for me, I thought nobody could see or nobody could tell, but know that if you have a plan, reach out to someone, a friend, and even if you begin the conversation with, I have a plan, you might find that your friends have already clocked you. They have already noticed that something's going on. They have been concerned about you. But if this story time is nothing, it is a testimony. It is the life I have today, I did not have in 2014. I don't know how many years ago 2014 was, but however many years ago that was, the life I have today, oh, I need to cut my hair. Oh, it itches. The life I have today, I didn't have then. I was the same me, obviously, but I was incredibly busy with work. I was teaching way too many classes than I should have been for where my mental health was. And at the same time, I was working as a home health aide. And in nobody's world should I have been caring for anybody's mama or daddy. I should not have been doing that. And I also had a cleaning business called Space. So I was cleaning houses and teaching class and caring for old folks and doing, like, I had way too many balls in the air and was not taking care of myself. And I was still living as a poet. So I'm still writing poetry. I'm still, and looking back, like, I know that it was obvious to people that something is off with her. But one of the things about people who present well, like me, like, we don't show up, when I show up to the medical facility, I'm not a problem. I'm not, causing ruckus in the waiting room. The security guard never has to tell me to calm down. I don't show up tattered. I'm not crying to the receptionist. I sit quietly with my journal or a sketchbook. And one of the things that happens, like I said, to people who present well is we don't always get the attention we need because we're quiet, and there are plenty of them who are not quiet. So, in this moment, it's so weird. It's not weird. It's just God that, I don't know, I was thinking about today. I was working, I work as a cleaner. I clean houses. And I'm a poet. And I'm a painter. And, but, sometimes you need more than gig money, right? Sometimes you need that extra income. And right now is one of those times for me. And when those times come, I get a job I can do. And right now I clean houses for a cleaning company. And but in everything that I do, I'm always a writer. I'm always a creator. And so I was at work today and I was cleaning this guy's house, this guy's apartment. And I was thinking about what I would talk about today. And I wanted today to, I was like in between topics because I wanted today being Storytime 30, and it's 30/365, by the way, because we're going into the year, until like next year. But I wanted to do something kind of like celebratory and, talk about 30 days or something. I wasn't sure what, but I'm literally cleaning a tub. Like, what am I going to talk about? I'm cleaning a sink, thinking about what new poem I could create or what story I could bring. And then the other thing, which is the thing that I had fully intended to talk about today, and we're only about a half an hour in, so the truth is we probably will get to some of it, or I probably will get to some of it. But I wanted to talk about poetic devices, because yesterday I talked about different kinds of poems. So yesterday I talked about couplets and sonnets and haikus, and what else did I talk about? Different kinds of poems. And so today I wanted to follow up with like devices that we use in poetry, like similes, like metaphors, like alliteration and onomatopoeia, or so I wanted to talk about that. And like I said, perhaps we'll get to that, but I did not, and I I was thinking, like, what random story could I begin with? Because I do like beginning the story times with a random story. Mostly because I just want to show you that when there are days that you don't feel like writing, there's always some quick story to tell. And even if you just tell that quick story, count it as a writing day. And so that's why I just think of like random stories to write about, just to show you that. And so on the drive home, I was thinking about what random story. And then I got home and I started I was painting, and I'm posting posting art on my page for people to buy, because I need to make some more money with art, you know. So I was doing that, and while I was doing that, I was still thinking, like, what story? And then the thought came that, you know what, I will find a story in the blog somewhere. And so I didn't know that this would be the story that popped up. But I'm glad that it is. And I praise God that it is, because maybe the celebration was more than a plan. Maybe the celebration for day 30 was that I'm here. Like, I'm here with you. And there was a time that wasn't going to be. Yeah, that wasn't going to be, because I didn't see, I did not see my life without excruciating. Am I saying that correctly? Excruciating. I know I'm saying that wrong, but pain, crippling pain. And I come from a time, I am old enough to have a day, but I come from a time when mental health was not acknowledged, and the truth is, for a lot of people, it still isn't. Many people, ask me, do you believe that bipolar is real? Do you believe depression is real? It's very real. It's very real because I lived with it. It's very real because I live with it. I choose not to use the phrase suffer from or suffer with. I choose not to use suffer in my vocabulary because I'm not suffering. But I was suffering. But I live with it. I don't have episodes every day. I don't have manic episodes every day, or not, nearly as often as I did. I don't even have depressive episodes as often as I did, but they come. I'm older now and a little wiser now, and have better learned to deal with them now. But they come, you know. But I just, like, I think when we are in a pot of hot water, we are in constant prayer to not be in that heat anymore. And as life has it, the heat cools eventually. And then that pot of hot water becomes a distant memory. And for many of us, maybe too distant a memory. And not to say that we should relive it or, but I think that remembering does a body good. Looking back, like me just putting in, and I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know what that journal entry or that blog entry was going to say. I literally in the search engine put why I write, because I know I have a cajillion blog entries about why I write, and I didn't know that that would come up. And it did, and maybe it did just for me to remember that there was a day that I had that didn't look like today. Today and not that my life is, smooth sailing all the time, but it is easier. It is easier. I wake up and I don't have hallucinations like that. I eat without imagining creatures in my body or in my brain. Attacking me. I recognize that I recognize the voices when they come, and I recognize that they are not my friend. I also recognize that I have friends, and I had them then as well. At that time, though, I didn't know the words to say, and I often felt ashamed of reaching out because I found myself reaching out to the same few people, and that was the other work the voices did, like, don't call Valerie again. Like, you don't want to call her again, love. She is tired, and you are boring her and bothering her. You are a bother. And I think that's quite common. I think that many of us believe that we are a bother. If you are watching and this is you, you are not a bother. You're not a bother. So I am. I'm sorry. I'm actually scrolling right now because I just want to see what else is there. And maybe, it's not for me to read something else. Maybe it was just for me to see that story. You're not a bother. I will take this opportunity, if you are watching this and you live with that monster, then writing got me through it. Writing got me through it. God got me through it. Writing was God. And prayer got me through it. And like the constant, always, the always praying, the always talking to the spirit that lives in me that I know is my friend. The spirit that has held me down and up when the water did come from my neck. That spirit that I know is living. Me being in constant conversation with that energy saved my life. And I think that just like I'm looking back and I don't know how I did it. I do not know, like, just how I got over. Looking back, I do not know. I'm tired saying all of the stuff that I was doing at that time. I am exhausted just talking about it. In Storytime 13, yeah, I know that it was 13. Storytime 13, I talked about, I was working for a home health agency. And this is, what year was this? This is 2011. Because I had gotten back, I used to live in McDonough, Georgia. I lived in Georgia for a few years, and then I moved back to California. And so it's 2011, and I needed work. So I always, when I need work, join a home health agency because I know I can get a job that way, and I'm good at it. So I joined this home health agency, and I was working with a client. I had too many clients, as a matter of fact. But one of the clients that I was working with was a woman named Clara. Her name was not Clara. I named her Clara. And it was grueling. It was hard. It was hard. And I worked 12-hour shifts. And my 12-hour shifts were my short days. All of this is, and during this time, the depression is heavy. During this time, the I cannot live was on me so thick. You cannot live like this. Cannot live like this. It is too much for me. Was on me so thick. So I was working with Clara 12-hour days. And when I wasn't working with Clara, I had another client named Deborah. Her name's not really Deborah either. But so we call her Deborah. And Deborah was a nice woman, but she needed a lot of care. She had a brain injury. And so with Deborah, I would go in Thursday morning at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I would be off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, and then I would get off Wednesday, early, like 8 o'clock Wednesday morning. So I would, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, so I would stay there for like 6 days or something like that. And so I would go in Thursday morning. Yep. And then I would be off Wednesday morning. I couldn't leave. There's no relief coming. It's just me. 24-hour days from Thursday at 8 to Tuesday, Wednesday morning at 8. It's crazy. And I'm making $9 an hour at this job. $9. And and this agency, the home health agencies are fucking trash. Fucking trash. For real. Most of them that I've worked for. Except for Home Instead. Home Instead, actually, I fucks with them. But for the most part, fuck them. So anyway, so I'm making $9 an hour, but I'm staying overnight for like 6 days. But they would only pay me for 12 hours. They would only pay me from 8 o'clock in the morning, and then 8 o'clock that night, the clock stopped for me. But I still had to be there. And so when I would complain to the agency, like, look, my check is like way shorty. And they were like, yeah, but we don't pay for nighttime hours because you're asleep. Technically, like, you're asleep. And I was like, technically, like, I'm not. Because if Deborah is awake and she, has a bowel movement, or she wets herself, or she has a bad drink, I got to get up. So is it okay if she needs my assistance at midnight and I just tell her to fuck herself until 8 o'clock when I'm back on? No, it's not okay, right? But they fuck me. right? They wouldn't pay for nighttime hours. It's so cruel. And the company was Comfort Keepers. That's what they were. Fucking Comfort Keepers. In LA. So was it LA? No. Comfort Keepers. I think it was Pasadena. Anyway, yeah, they maybe they got this shit together. I don't know. But at that time in 2011, they didn't have this shit together. So I'm working 24-hour days and I'm only getting paid for like 12. But I'm still working through the night. So it's just me. Nobody is coming in to relieve me. It does not matter the night that I had. Like the night fuck me on the night that I had. If Deborah was up all night and I had a really long night, then I still gotta get up at the crack of dawn and change her again. There's nobody coming in. There is no supervisor coming in. There's no other employee coming in. It is just me. So I'm saying all this to say that even at this time, I am like, the depression is crazy. The depression is what is wild for me. Wild. Just levels that I won't say on camera. And for me to not say on camera is huge. And at this time, I am self-medicating because I don't know what to do. I don't know. I am self-medicating with, at that time, whatever I could get my hands on. Pills, alcohol. I mean, I wasn't drinking on like while I'm working. I wasn't doing that. I was taking pills though. But like pills, alcohol, mostly over-the-counter stuff that I would abuse. Just I couldn't sleep, or I didn't have anything to control the voices. So all of this, was on me. And when I, like those weeks that I had with Deborah, when I was doing like the overnight shifts, like I said, I'm only making $9 an hour, and $9 an hour does not cover my rent. In no world does $9 an hour cover my rent. So I am, I'm, and I can't like set up my art studio in Deborah's guest bedroom. And her family, Deborah's family, this was in California, and Deborah's family lived back east. I think they were in New Jersey or something like that. So they had cameras throughout the whole apartment. So there was nowhere that I could be where there weren't 1,000 eyes on me. And so everybody could see, me sleepy and me just, and the depression is crazy. And I'm figuring out from her house, her apartment, how I'm going to make rent, because my job is paying me $9 an hour and I'm fucking trapped here. And so if it wasn't Deborah, then it was Clara, who was the most racist bitch ever known in the whole world ever. It was her. And then they had this ridiculous policy that if they called you and offered you a job that was not on your schedule, if you refused, they called that you getting an R, like for refusal. And they would but if you didn't answer the phone, that was like some letter too. And so they would call me. So I would get off Wednesday morning and they would call me on my way home, like to see if I could work for another client. And so if I didn't answer the phone, that's a problem. But if I did answer the phone and say, I'm dog fucking tired, go fuck yourself, no the fuck I can't work for Clara tomorrow or tonight, then I got an R. And then I was like, you know what, fuck a R's, fuck you, right? So all of that, like, like looking back, how was I doing all of that? How was any of that happening? But I made it. I am here. I am not there. I am not there in every way. I am not there. I am not working crazy like that. I am not in a space where I don't want to live, or I am not there. I am not in any of that. I am not in any of that. And while I was in that really hot pot, I did not know. But a part of me did know. I was going to say I did not know that a day would come that that heat would lift. Because you're in it and you think this hell is just going to burn fire forever. But it doesn't burn fire forever. It does not. And if you are in that hot water today, it does not burn forever. Someone on TikTok, or I read a bumper sticker, or somebody said that every storm runs out of rain. And I liked that. It doesn't rain forever. And I know that it feels like it. I know that it feels like it. I promise you, in the name of all holy, there is another side. There is another side. I do know how you feel. I was there. Your feelings are real. What you are going through is real. And it does not matter that you can't explain it to someone else. It does not matter that somebody else has all of this proof that your mental illness is something in your head. It doesn't matter. Fuck them. Because it's real. It's real because you feel it. And it is unfair that the person with diabetes or cancer or a fucking broken leg does not have to prove to their people the same way that you feel like you have to, that your illness is real. You're not by yourself. You won't always get the right doctor. You will have to advocate for yourself sometimes, because sometimes people won't be there. And it fucking sucks. But there is another side. There is. And I won. I didn't win because I got $1 million. And I didn't win because, and I didn't get $1 million. I don't have $1 million. But I did not win because of any kind of money. I did not win because of any, like, of those things. I won because I don't spend months at a time thinking of how I'm going to kill myself anymore. I won. I won my mind back. I want it back. It's mine now. And the days were rough and the nights were rougher. I was in such a bad state one time. I was the monsters, when I say the monsters are this real. So I'm in the car, in the back seat of the car with my good friend, Inspire, and she's driving. And I did like, I think I ate an edible as well, which all of the things you use to try to like medicate yourself with, it just makes things worse. It doesn't lift it. For me, it did not lift it. It just made it worse. So anyway, I'm on this bad trip, and I'm in the back seat of her car. And all of the things that the voices would say were just like outside of me, and I could hear them. And there were monsters in the back seat with me that I could see and hear and feel. And so I'm in the back seat and I'm crying and I'm hysterical. And Inspire is driving and we are like in motion. And she is like beating. I love you, Inspire. So she is driving and she's turning around and she is beating the monsters up. No, fuck you, monsters. Get the fuck away from my friend. Get the fuck away. But she was like beating them up, like, and I needed that. I needed her to road and ride for me like that night. And listen, praise God for a friend who will ride like that. She knew that there were no monsters, but she knew that I knew that there were. And so she beat the motherfucking monsters' asses that night in the car while she was driving. And but there are no monsters. I'm one, baby. And I know it is not lost on me that everybody does not make it to the other side. It is not lost. But I did. And to have the glorious relationship with my son that I have, I today is just huge. There is another side. My hope is that you stay and fight. Stay and fight. And I have no judgment whatever you do. And I understand. And my hope is that you stay and fight. That's my hope. That you stay. And stay and fight can sound a little daunting, like I stay and then I constantly fight. And kind of it is that way. Even for me now. I'm not on meds, but there, I do have to take, like, vigilant care of myself. I do have to get enough rest. I do have to get enough exercise. I do have to avoid the triggers as best I can. I do have to, there are things to do. Like, you don't just throw the pills away and then act like you never needed them. So you do have to do something. But work that out with your care professionals on what you do. I don't suggest that you throw your pills down the toilet. That wasn't the smartest idea for me. Truthfully, the truth is I went off meds because I moved to Atlanta and my doctors were in California. And you have to be under a doctor's care if you are on lithium, especially the dosage that I was on, because lithium has crazy effects on your kidneys. And I kind of said, and when I got to Atlanta, I don't have medical insurance today. And I just kind of said, if I'm not taking the lithium, then I can go off all of it. And so that's what I did and how I did it. I don't advise that. The truth is, if I was still in California, I probably would still be on meds, probably. I did eventually come to a cocktail that I feel kind of worked. But even with that cocktail, there were up days and bad days. It's a fucking roller coaster, and I'm here now. I'm here now, and those days are a memory, and I am thankful that I survived that. I am thankful that I can tell you. I am thankful that I use writing to get me through. And I believe that if you are a writer, I think even if you're not like a writer, if you don't call yourself a writer, some kind of creative outlet will be good for you. For me, seeing something in black and white and like putting it out there and seeing it, like I told that on myself and I didn't die. I didn't die. I'm going to close. I never did get to the lesson I wanted to get to, but there's tomorrow. We hope. I love you for listening. I do,